Hey everybody, Lady Liberty Stacker. I am back with an update on the waffle iron I picked up in Erie, PA actually a week or two ago when we were going through the area. I did pick up, if you missed that video, and I'll go ahead and link it in the end of the video here. This is a favorite Pequot Ware number 8 waffle iron. And it's an antique, and from all the research that I've done since I posted the video, this was made in or around the 1920s. So it's approaching antique status, as this is 2019. So we're almost coming up on 100 years here. So the thing is really old. It had the wood handles on it, and with wood and cast iron together, there is the original wood handle. With wood and cast iron together, you can't throw it into an oven and season it like you normally would, or you can't even put it into a lye tank. Just throw it in with the handle. So you have to take care as to how you're going to do it. And that's why some of these on eBay weren't even seasoned, because people don't want to take the time to do it. Of course, I don't know. And then you shouldn't even buy it and try to sell it. But or if you do, then price it a little bit lower. But at any rate, what you have to consider on these is, first of all, you have to strip it down. Lye will soften old crust and cast iron seasoning, and if it softens that, it's definitely going to soften the wood. So I didn't want to risk the wood, and I didn't want them to come out. At the time, this one had a handle too, so I did run into a little bit of a dilemma. So I thought, okay, we'll go ahead and just try to strip this of the seasoning and the rust just in a vinegar solution, a 60% vinegar, 40% water in a 5-gallon bucket. And when I was positioning the paddle in the bucket to keep the water level at this level or below, the handle actually snapped off. It snapped off, but you still had the rest of the handle in here that was dry rotted out. It probably got wet, rusted up over the years, and water and wood do not mix. Water will make wood dry rot. It's just the way it is. You see a lot of that in bathrooms, and people let moisture and mildew build up. But at any rate, I couldn't get it out, and the vinegar wouldn't soften it when I threw it back into the vinegar. So I thought, you know what? I need to throw this in my lye tank. The lye softened it up where I could push it through with the screwdriver and get it out through the hole. So I just was left with the paddle without the handle. So now I can season that in the oven. And I can season the base, because there's no wood with the base in the oven like you normally would. But you still have the issue of the other paddle. So taking a look at what I was able to do, I'll go ahead and pull this out. I was able to strip this down anyway, and I threw this into lye. It softened it up. This one was particularly, had some stubborn old seasoning on, but still I was able to get most of it off. It's in really good shape, and just new seasoning will go ahead and cover that up, and it'll be nice and smooth. And then on the other side, we have a little bit of the old seasoning remaining, but you don't want to leave it in vinegar too long, because it will pit your iron. A little pitting there, but not a real big deal. It's in real good shape. And the only other thing is you have a rivet, and that's the end that went in first, and then the other side, once it went in and they drilled a hole through the handle, then they pounded this down around the hole to hold it into place, and holds the handle into place. So to get it out, I would imagine you would need to, not this side, but you would need to file away what's around the hole with the metal file, and then try to get it out. But my guess is this is so, it seems like it's almost welded in there. You'd have to actually drill it out. And this has a little bit of a crack around the base right there. So you're going to make, you could actually crack the paddle by doing that. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it that way. I can operate it with the handle only, as I will demonstrate. So stay tuned. I'll show you how to do that. And then this one cleaned up really nice, but I had to season the first coat on the stove. And I just wanted to see how it was done, to see if I wanted to even replace the handles. But with the crack here, I'm just thinking I want to try to remove this. So I'm going to have to throw this back into the lye tank to soften this, so I can get it out of the handle, and then either saw that off or it'll snap off. One of the two. But you can see how nice all the old seasoning came off. It's nice and clean. Then the other side just is in excellent condition. It looks like this one got a little bit more abuse than this one did. And then we're going to take a look at the base. The base, a lot of times the bases don't even come with the iron, so you have the iron by itself, which is hard to use unless it's set up different, unless it's, you just can't use this type of an iron without a base. This is considered a low base. It can go over a flat stovetop, which they had back in the day. That's where they had the rings that were built into the range top. That's why the skillets had heat rings to set into the rings on the range tops. But it'll fit on those, if you still have one of those. They're probably pretty rare too. It'll work great on a glass stovetop, an induction stovetop, a coiled electric range. As long as you keep the flames low, you don't want it too high. And mind you, you have to let the cast iron paddle heat up a little bit longer if you keep your flames low in a gas stovetop. Cast iron, once it heats up, it stays hot, the heat spreads, it should be fine as long as you're patient. They also have a high top base, which is good if you want your flames to be higher. Those sell for a little bit more money. Actually, most of the ones I saw either didn't have them or they had them, and most of the ones were not stripped and re-seasoned. Now the one that had no wooden handles, and it sold for $159.99 including shipping. So it was about, if you take that off of there, it was a sales price of in the neighborhood of $134, which ain't shabby. I mean, these things are rare. They're selling for higher and higher amounts of money because you just don't find them. So I'm not really worried about that if I ever wanted to sell it. But at any rate, this is a base that matches, has the original bail handle, which is nice because some of them don't. And it's actually matches. It's a number 8 favorite. It's right here. It matches in beautiful shape. It's all ready to be seasoned in the oven, right along with the paddle without the wooden handle. So now let me show you how this can actually work with using a heat-resistant glove. And we'll go ahead and just put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the iPod or the tripod right here. And I'll show you how that actually works. Okay, there we are. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put on the glove, heat-resistant glove. And you just want it, and it's going to be hard to get under there to lift it up. So what you want to do is just lift it up like so and turn it. And you have to turn it after 60 to 90 seconds, making a waffle. There you go. Very simple to do. And so things to keep in mind if you're on the waffle iron hunt. You want to keep in mind what kind of handles it has. If it has wood handles, chances are they could have dry rot in them, especially if they have an opening like this where water could get in. If it's rusted at all, the integrity of these could be affected. Now these, I've done research on these original handles. I think they were made out of hickory, but to now you can make dowel rods to put in here if you can get the pin out. I'm not going to try it on mine, but if you can get the pin out, you can try to find hickory. Hickory would be harder to find, I would think. You can get dowel rods of various sizes at probably Home Depot or Menards or wherever. I don't know. But the other waffle irons, the Wagner and some of the Griswold, come with the long cast iron, the coiled handles that screw into here. And those would be fine. Just bear in mind, though, that you still need to have those seasoned, and they would be tricky to season. And you want to make sure to get all the rust off. In a situation like that, when you have the coiled handles, you want to maybe put it in Evapor-Rust. Evapor-Rust is kind of inexpensive. It's I think $30 a gallon or something like that, but you can be reused and you don't need all that much. You can put those coiled in there. It'll take all the rust off. Just make sure that you coat it with oil and you season it right away, and then that way you don't have to worry about that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is they may have stainless steel ones that some of the ones online look like stainless steel coils that you can get to replace them. But again, I don't know. But those were, I think, Wagner's. I'm not sure about Griswold. Those of you that maybe own a Griswold may have shed some light on that. But if you have the long metal handles, you're still going to need a heat-resistant glove to turn the paddles over when you're making waffles. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. I will be back when this has been restored and seasoned, and I've given it 2 to 3 coats. I'm getting ready to use it. You can see how nice it looks. And so you'll see that. And any questions or comments below, please leave them below. Any concerns, leave them below. If you like this type of video, please give me a thumb up. The thumbs up help this video be recommended to other people. I did not see very many videos of this type when I ran into the issue with the handle. I looked, I could hardly see. There weren't very many videos even showing how to season it, so I might make a video on how to season this if you guys want to see it. If not, I'll show you when I'm done. Anyway, guys, I appreciate your watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and go make it a great day.